So if you asked me as a kid what my favorite vegetable was, I would say potatoes. And the debate between if a potato is a vegetable or not it's way bigger than if it's potato, tomato, tomato. Is a potato a vegetable? I used to think so, but I don't think it is anymore as much as I want to believe it. It seems like more of a carb source, but carb sources can be vegetables too, so maybe it is a vegetable. I don't know, let me know down below if you think a potato is a vegetable or not, but potato chips, my favorite flavor of potato chips. You're gonna find out in just a second what my favorite flavor was, and the way I cook these potatoes reminds me of my favorite flavor. Today we are making pot of potatoes. This has been my new favorite, absolute favorite way to eat potatoes. It has changed the game for me because potatoes were not very filling at all. Like I would just bake them in the oven and they weren't very filling until I started cooking them this way. So let me show you guys exactly how I do it. I'm using these potatoes right here. These are little potatoes, the Little Potato Company. So they're called the Dynamic Duo, but I guess they should be called the Dynamic Trio because me and the two potatoes, we're the trio. These are small potatoes. They're baby potatoes, and I don't know, I like baby potatoes. You don't have to use baby potatoes if you don't want to. You can use any potato you want. But I'm gonna be using a bunch of these baby potatoes today and cooking them in a special way. So since these potatoes are 70 calories, I'm gonna use 3 servings, so that is gonna be 210 calories if I did my math correctly, but the chances of that are not very high. Food scale, my boy. Wait, I can't use this bowl. This is my cream of rice bowl, okay? And I'm making cream of rice later, so I can't use this bowl. And if you haven't seen my video on why cream of rice is better than oats, watch it. So that is gonna be 330 grams of potatoes. So do you guys peel your potatoes or do you guys eat the skins? Because I love the skins of potatoes, so I'm not peeling these. Also, to peel baby potatoes would be quite the challenge, and I like to keep the skin on my fingers. And I'm gonna wash these because there are dirt on these balls. So if you don't wash your balls, wash your balls. These are clean and wet, and now we have to chop these up and put them in the pot. You got small balls, you got bigger balls, you got the big ones. So I like to take the really big ones. I use the back of the knife to try to cut this. Genius. And I'm making a cooking video. Sorry, please listen to me. So I like to cut these into multiple pieces, so kind of like bite-sized pieces. So the big one was cut into 6 pieces. The medium ones are cut into 4 pieces. And then the real small balls, cut into 2 pieces. If you don't have little baby potatoes and you just want to use a big potato, do the same thing. Just wash it, chop it up into bite-sized pieces, and then we'll get into the next steps when these are chopped up. So we got all of our potatoes in a thin layer like that. You don't want to get a massive pot, like a big pasta pot, like no. You want something that's small to medium sized to fit all your potatoes kind of in one flat layer. How are we gonna cook these? In water? No, guys, come on. In the oven? Are we gonna just get them crispy? No. That is not what we're doing. So what I thought was, every time I would just bake these potatoes and just soak all the moisture out of them in the oven, yeah, they would taste pretty good. They would taste real crispy, and it is a very great way to enjoy your potatoes, but they're not as filling, and these are just so much more comforting, and they just remind me of my favorite snack, which is salt and vinegar chips. I used to love salt and vinegar chips. I know it is very controversial. Some people absolutely hate it and think it's disgusting. Some people love salt and vinegar chips, and I was on the boat. I like salt and vinegar chips. So if you don't like salt and vinegar chips, your palate couldn't handle it. You gotta have an exquisite taste. The taste buds have to be very special to like salt and vinegar chips, but I used to love them. Whatever your favorite flavor of chips are, let me know down below. We're gonna cook these in vinegar, distilled white vinegar. So the first time I made these, I cooked them in rice vinegar, like rice wine vinegar. Just get the cheapest vinegar you can find at the grocery store. You don't need to get like a $5 little bottle of vinegar and cook them like I did, because it's just gonna take up a lot of vinegar and it's not worth it. Just take a bunch of vinegar and pour it on the potatoes so that the potatoes are covered in a layer of vinegar. So I have enough vinegar in here to kind of cover all the potatoes. And then I like to put a little bit of water. Just a tiny bit, maybe a quarter cup of water. If you like a really strong vinegar taste, go all vinegar. If you like no vinegar taste, yeah, water. That little bite of vinegar, it makes it so good. So if you don't want it to be as strong, go less vinegar and more water. You can mess around with the ratios, and the more vinegar you boil these in, the more vinegary they will be. And the less vinegar you boil these in, you guessed it. Now that I have a bunch of vinegar covering these potatoes, I'm gonna salt them because potatoes love salt. Have you ever had a potato without any salt on it? I mean, I could do it, like, because I love potatoes that much, but trust me, you need the salt. They need the salt. However salty you think it should be, double that amount. And then you boil them. Like, yes, I could say, oh, go on like a low and slow heat and slow cook them, tenderize them in the water, but no, just put that thing as high as it can get. You just want to boil them like it's a volcano in there. Boil them as high as you can, as long as you can, until they are soft and you can put a fork in them and the fork goes in and out smoothly. Just check up on them and make sure the water has not all evaporated and there's no liquid for the potatoes to boil in. If the water and the vinegar evaporate, all you have to do is add a little more vinegar, add a little more water, and it is no big deal. Potatoes are one of the most satiating, one of the most filling foods. Some of the most satiating foods are potatoes, popcorn, oatmeal. Potatoes have a special chemical in them that I read that makes you feel full. Weird, I would have never thought. When you cook them like this, they soak up so much liquid, they soak up so much vinegar and water, and they taste so good and they're so comforting and warm. It's just a bowl, it's a pot of potatoes. You never want shrinkage, but sometimes it happens in the air fryer, and when it happens in the air fryer, all the liquid and all the moisture is drawn out of the potatoes and they're dry and they taste really good, but they're not as filling because, you know, highly palatable, crispy potatoes won't fill you up as much as a nice big bowl of comforting pot of potatoes. And you know what goes really well with potatoes? And the perfect thing to do while these potatoes are cooking? Coffee. It's a problem, it's an addiction, I know. Why do I always use this cup instead of any other cup for coffee? This is my special coffee cup, okay? Let me tell you guys why. This is a teacup. Do you see the difference? How many teacups of coffee would I have to make? Way too many. I need a bigger cup. This is a normal sized mug. This holds 2 to 3 times as much. That is why I use this coffee cup instead of a normal mug, because it's the largest mug I have. I mean, until I get a mug that's bigger than this is gonna be my daily coffee driver. So these are boiling now, and I'm not even gonna stir with a spoon. I'm hold the handle and just go like this. Back and forth, practice. So some of you guys are commenting saying you watch my videos on 2x speed and the amount of coffee I have and I'm just amped up and like I have too much caffeine in me and it's just funny to watch me on 2x speed. So stop that, guys. Slow me down to 0.5x speed, okay? Half speed, and then everything will be at a normal pace. Or if you're gonna watch me on 2x speed, then I'm just gonna talk like this. I'm gonna talk really slowly. Today we are going to cook some potatoes and they are going to be delicious. And then if you watch me on 2x speed, then I'm gonna be talking normally, so you know, it is up to you. Tell me what speed you watch me at, and I'm gonna change the way I talk, so no matter what speed you watch me at, it's gonna be the same exact way. And you know what else goes really well with potatoes? A protein source. So you can use any protein source you want. Chicken, salmon, whey protein. But I'm gonna use a steak. I'm giving them a stir. And they're still hard. Like, I wish these got softer faster. Not something I wish for often, but with these, it takes them so long to get soft, but they will get there eventually. So a lot of the Jeez. If you're single, then this is a great recipe, but if you're not, then good luck, because the vinegar smell is strong in the house. And that vinegar just hits your eyes. Like, geez, do not stare at this pot from above it. It will burn. There's not that much liquid left. And the potatoes are still hard. So we add more liquid. That can be vinegar if you want more vinegar taste. That can be water if you want more water taste. That can be a combo. And then back on the heat. So if you time this right like me, all of your liquid will evaporate at the exact same time when your potatoes are soft and fork tender. If you stab it with a fork and it easily goes in, then you know you're ready. But if you don't know, you're kind of skeptical, just take a piece of potato, try it. Does it taste good? Does it taste soft? And if it tastes good to you and if it's perfect, then you're good to go. If it's not, you just leave it on for a little longer. If you have a lot of liquid but your potatoes are completely cooked, all you have to do is strain it. What do you want to season these potatoes with? You can season it with absolutely anything you want. Paprika, Cajun seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, oregano. Anything you want will be pretty good, but I like to keep it really simple because I love that salt and vinegar taste. I go heavy in the salt because I like a salty potato. I also like a little bit of garlic powder. I know salt and vinegar chips don't have garlic powder, but I just like a little bit. Pepper. I freshly cracked pepper on potatoes. It's a match made in heaven. Actually, salt and potatoes are a match made in heaven, so this is after that. And just give this a stir. If you really like that vinegary taste, you want a little extra vinegar like I do, the last time vinegar will be seen in this recipe. Just take a little splash of vinegar and pour right on top. As these potatoes cool, the vinegar will just get absorbed into them. So it will be extra vinegary. You got your pot of potatoes, you got your fork. They're just so good, and it's like salt and vinegar chips, but without the crunch, with a lot of volume and more fillingness. These potatoes are 70 calories for 110 grams. That looked a little off to me, and I'm gonna put up pictures of the calories on these potatoes and other potatoes by this brand on the screen here. They're really easily available in the US. And if you're in Australia, you have something called Charisma potatoes, so I'm very jealous of you guys. This brand, a lot of their potatoes are 70 calories, 60 calories for 110 grams, but every single other potato I have found ever is more than that. So I did a bunch of research, and all it says on their website is, oh, these potatoes are less calories than regular potatoes, but like, why? They're potatoes. Like, I don't see cauliflower that's less calories than other cauliflower. Doesn't make sense. But I emailed them and I'm like, hey, why are your potatoes less calories than every single other potato I find in the grocery store? I'm a curious boy who really likes potatoes and low calorie foods, and I want to know why your potatoes are low calories. Because I mean, if something's lower calories and it tastes the same, like, sign me up. And they emailed me back and they were like, they're lower calories because they are lower calories. Like, no explanation, no reasoning why they're low calories. They're just like, different potatoes are different calories and these ones are lower than the other ones. And I'm just like, okay, I guess I can't expect a food scientist or a nutritionist to email me back. Any of you guys know why these potatoes are less calories than normal potatoes? Please let me know down below. If there are lower calorie potatoes, then that just makes life better. If you don't want to be an absolute savage and eat out of a pot, then yes, grab your plate. And then also grab your protein of choice, which you do not need a protein. Like, you just have these potatoes on their own and they're tasty. They're a great snack, 210 calories for all these potatoes. But I like to have them as a meal. So, you know, steak, and now it's pot of potatoes and steak. Plate and potatoes of steak. What did I just say? Got my steak, got my potatoes. I gotta let that steak rest for a little bit. Just came out of the air fryer, you know. So the juices get absorbed back in. Maybe I should boil a steak in vinegar. Let's see how that goes. But these potatoes, they're so soft, they just melt in your mouth. What's hot and red and tastes really good on these potatoes? Frank. If you like a little spice, little Frank's red hot on the potatoes, it hits hard. Oh wait, I said the last time you're gonna see vinegar in this video was when I put a little bit on the potatoes, but this is a vinegar-based hot sauce, so sorry. A little red, vinegary potato, salt, pepper, garlic. It's so good, and I'm telling you guys, this is probably the most filling, the most satiating way to eat potatoes, at least that I've found. And so if you don't eat potatoes and you eat other vegetables because you think they're gonna be more satiating, try this out. Try cooking it this way specifically, and let me know what you think. That soft potato is just flaky, soaked up all that vinegar, so it's got that salty, vinegary taste. Delicious. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit that like button if you like this new cool way of cooking potatoes. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in the next video.